Are you looking for an easy way to track your blogging or online business income? If so, this video is for you because in this video, I'll be demonstrating to you how to track your blogging income. Now, first I want to show you basically how it goes, what routines you may need to have in place, and then after that, we'll talk about how to track your blogging income. So stay tuned. So now a common scenario for bloggers and online entrepreneurs is that they get started in an online business because they find that it's fairly low startup costs. They find that it can be an exciting thing to do. And they also find out that they can have perks like location independence and schedule flexibility and various things like that. And they might have a job or a retirement plan or various things that aren't really working out the way that they want them to. And so the blog kind of gives them hope that something else can come in and support their families. So this is a common scenario, but oftentimes they don't realize that things like bookkeeping, things like accounting, things like marketing, or even legal is also a component of their businesses. And so in this video, I want to show you how I personally track my blogging income in effort to help you so that when tax time comes and you need to fill out your tax forms and things like that, you don't have trouble being compliant with whatever the regulations are. It's really important to track your blogging income because you want to see the growth and the progress that you're making in your business. You also want to be able to make accurate decisions about what you should be spending on and what you should not be spending on. And then finally, you want to be able to be compliant to whatever tax regulations and whatever officials are in your area. So I want to show you how to track your blogging income. Okay, so first, how do you track your blogging startup expenses? Because what a lot of people don't realize is that even before a blog starts to make money, there are expenses. And this is pretty standard for any business that you start, whether it's lawn care, whether it is a digital marketing company. Regardless of the company you decide to start, you have to start with some expenses. In the case of a lawn care business, you would start with maybe a lawnmower, you might start with some gas, you might start with some business cards, and you might need transportation costs so that you can go and do estimates or whatever the case is. For blogging, you need things like web hosting, you need education so you can know how to use the technology online to get customers. You need social networking. You need software, you need advertising, you need office supplies, legal fees, accounting fees, marketing, coaching or consulting, incorporation. And these are some common things that online entrepreneurs spend money on in the startup phases. And so these are really common blogging expenses. Now there is a minimum viable list of expenses, and I've talked about that before in a previous video where I talked about what does it cost to start an online business. In that video, I gave you my recommendation for what would be the minimum viable list of expenses you would need if you were on a shoestring budget. And if you haven't yet checked that video out, definitely check that video out and you can get a list. If you're on a tight budget, that might be a good video for you to watch. But that's not what this video is going to be about. If you're on a tight budget, like I said, you can go and check out that video and it'll give you more insight on how to minimize the expenses while you're growing your business. Now, for startup bloggers and online entrepreneurs, if you are not on such a tight budget, there's a wide range of expenses that you can have. You can decide to spend more on market research and market research tools. You can decide to spend more on product development. Maybe you want to go into doing ebooks or e-courses or things like that. You can spend more on conversion optimization instead of having just a standard WordPress website. Maybe you decide to buy software that lets you do upsells and downsells and various things. There's so many ways that you can upgrade the basic things, and you could have more expenses in the startup phase. Now, most likely when you are starting a business, you're starting from your personal income. So if you are starting from personal finances that are not really doing so well, then it's best to stick with a minimum viable list of expenses. But if you are starting with a personal financial situation where you have more wiggle room, then you can possibly start with more expenses, more things that might make you more efficient, or that might help you to attract more customers faster, like advertising or various things like that. So now all of this still should be documented. Even though you are not generating an income from your business, you still want to know how much are you investing in your business, and from that investment, where is the money going? And the reason for that is partially because you can write off those expenses on your taxes, and also because you want to know you want to track how much did you actually spend in order to break even. How much did you actually spend before you actually got a return on your investment? And you really want to track all of those metrics, because that's what will really help you to decide if you're going on the right path in your business, or if you need to pivot, or what you may need to do or change to get better results. So this is really important. It's important to have a personal budgeting routine, so that way you know how your personal finances are going, and you can have a little more discipline when you need to, and a little more freedom when you have the flexibility to. But also, when you track your personal finances well, then that will transfer over to how you track and manage your business income as well. I like to budget my personal and my business separately. I have a completely different log-on for my personal budget and a completely different log-on for my business budget, and I try not to intermingle them at all. And so the next question I want to answer for you, because this is a routine that really helps you to track your blogging income, is to separate your business and your personal expenses. And so I want to answer the question, when should you separate your personal and your business expenses? In my opinion, it's best to incorporate or to get a DBA or assumed name as soon as you can. Now, you can wait until you start to get sales. Again, if you are using the minimum viable list of expenses, incorporation might fall after you start to get sales, because at that point you actually have liability, you have more risk. But if you have more wiggle room, then you can incorporate earlier on. You can start to use whatever business name you want to represent yourself as in the marketplace early on. And you can also start to separate what money you are investing and put that into your business account. Budget your business separately from your personal, and all of that would make it much easier to track everything you need to for compliance sake. I would say as soon as you can. Now, there are services, and I've done reviews of various legal services that you can use to incorporate. And one of the recommendations that I really strongly stand behind is Incfile. Now, Incfile has where you can incorporate for free. And so if you haven't yet checked out Incfile, definitely I'll leave a link in the description box below where you can check out my Incfile review, and you can see some reasons why that would be a good option. Now, just in summary, they actually help you with deciding what structure you might need to incorporate with. They also help you with filing the paperwork with your Secretary of State. And they can also help you with things like meeting minutes. They can help you with other things that are commonly like misunderstood when you are a new entrepreneur, and it can be a reason why you would procrastinate on even starting the business or making progress with it. So having that legal support to get those beginning things out of the way can be really helpful, really help you to move forward and make progress in your business. So definitely check out that Incfile review if you haven't yet incorporated, if you haven't yet separated your business and personal checking, and if you would like some help with that. Like I said, they have a free incorporation service. They do have upgraded packages if you decided to go that route, but definitely check them out. Once your business is incorporated, then you can open a business bank account, and then you can have your personal bank account, you can have your business bank account, you can transfer an investment amount from your personal budget and put that into your business bank account and start to make disciplined decisions about how to use that business money in a way that would get you a return on your investment. So, and that will make it much easier to do your bookkeeping. Now, next question is, how often should you do bookkeeping as a blogger? And this depends. For most bloggers, you have a few ways that you make money. You might have quite a few ways. Like you might have several different affiliate partners. So you have deposits coming from different affiliate partners. You might have several different brand deals that you do. And so you have deposits coming from different brand sponsorship deals that you've done. And then you might have ad revenue, and you have deposits coming from ads on your videos and ads on your website. And then you might have services that you do, and then you have income coming from that, and maybe you have intellectual property like ebooks. It's so many different ways that you can have money coming into a blogging business. So it's important that you stabilize a routine for how you're going to track all of that income that's coming into your business and how you're going to track the expenses that are going out of your business. And in the beginning, it might seem really overwhelming. It might seem like you're spending on all kinds of things, and you might feel like you're experimenting a lot. And some of it may be necessary so you can decide which products and services you really like, which ones really help you with managing your business. But some of it can actually be just because you're not familiar with the business model, you don't have a mentor, you don't have a coach, you don't have anyone to ask. And in that case, it's probably important for you to find a way to get in contact with somebody that's been in the industry a little bit longer and can give you advice about whether this is a good spending decision or whether it's not. And so that's one of the reasons why I enjoy coaching online entrepreneurs through Wealthy Affiliate. So I've been doing that for the last 2 years. And so I have clients who send me messages and say, what do you think about this? What do you think about that? And I am available for my clients to answer questions like that. So if you are looking for someone that you can run different expenses by, who's not trying to upsell you and get you to just make them more and more and more commissions, then definitely check out the link in the description box below, where I can help you to make those decisions that can help to grow your online business. I really enjoy what I do, and I would love to help you. So how often should you do your bookkeeping? There are monthly bookkeeping tasks at the beginning of the month or at the end of the month. It's important to do your budget. Now it's the 17th of April when I'm shooting this video. Maybe I can start to work on my budget for May. If I already kind of know what my income would be for next month, like how much sales I've had for specific affiliate partners, specific affiliate networks, I might have an idea of how much sales I have for those programs. And the reason I would have that idea is because of patterns from before. If you're just starting out and maybe you're getting your first sale or your second sale, and you don't really have the patterns yet, it's a little bit more difficult to project your income for future months. Instead, you can use maybe someone else's income report that is fairly close in age and niche and various things, product cost, average affiliate commission. You can use those as a template to kind of set goals, financial goals in the beginning. So you can look at a blogger who was blogging for 1 month, who might be trying to monetize the same method you are. For example, if you're doing affiliate marketing, maybe you would look at a blogger who was in blogging for 1 month, who is monetizing with affiliate marketing, and you would see what they were able to accomplish and kind of decide if that could be a feasible goal for you. So that is how you get started, and then as you go on, you'll start to see your own patterns of your income and your expenses, and you'll be able to project your income and expenses based off of your experience. So now, budgeting is a good thing to do at least once a month. And so for me, most of my deposits come in at the beginning of the month, so I can budget based off of the cash on hand at the beginning of the month, or I can budget based off of what's accrued and what I'm projecting at the end of the month prior. And I like to actually do both. So I will project my income at the end of the month before, and then I will go back and put in my actuals as my income starts to come in on the month that, like, when the cash is in hand. And that's when, once the cash is in hand, that's when I like to make my business decisions when it comes to like if I'm going to add any new expenses, or if I need to get rid of some expenses. Maybe my income was lower than what I expected. Maybe I need to cut some things. So that's when I make those decisions, is when the cash is on hand. Unless I know ahead of time what is going to happen before the cash is on hand. So monthly, you want to do your bookkeeping. Weekly, you want to go back and make sure to update with your real-time spending. So if you have lots of transactions, most of my transactions, I try to make sure that I pay for things on an annual basis, or that I know what day the transactions go out, so the money is set aside ahead of time. But if there were expenses, like say I wanted to do a photo shoot for my blog, or I wanted to do a photo shoot for a post that I'm writing, and I needed to go and get various things for that photo shoot, then it might be several different expenses. Like DIY bloggers, for example, a lot of times they will actually take pictures as they're doing a project, and they might have various different costs that are associated with the project that they have to do. Like maybe they're making a birdhouse and they're writing a blog post about how to make a birdhouse. Then they may need to go to Home Depot or Lowe's or wherever and get the wood and get the nails and get all of those things, and all of those would be expenses that would be associated with their blog. It's important to go back and to make sure you're updating with what the expenses were, and so that you not just have a projected budget, but you also know what is the actual spending that you do in your business, or what is the actual income that you receive in your business. Now, you could also have, maybe you have more days that your income comes into your business. So weekly bookkeeping might be more necessary for you, or maybe you haven't established a pattern yet of when each payout happens. And so weekly bookkeeping can help you to establish that pattern of when each income comes in. You want to make sure that you actually know what happens, so that you can compare what you've predicted with what is actually happening. Daily bookkeeping is also another routine that you can put in place. Most bloggers that I've met don't spend on a daily basis. Most of the spending that takes place for bloggers is usually monthly, where you have things like your hosting, or you have software subscriptions, or you might have education costs. Maybe some of them are one-time education costs, some of them may be memberships. So you have various expenses like that. But you can do daily bookkeeping, especially when you are at the beginning and you haven't yet gotten a pattern. You might be spending more freely. You might be decided on the go that you want to learn more about whatever it is. And so when you are at the beginning like that, it might be necessary to track your income and your spending a little bit more frequently. In the beginning, you might also not know what the real investment is that you need to put into the business to make it suitable for you. Like we can say what the minimum viable list of expenses are, but maybe, for example, when you start out in blogging, maybe you are really bad with spelling and grammar, and so you decide that you want to spend more on English and writing classes and spelling and grammar classes so that you can be better. Now that would be a choice up to you. And the same thing with if you start out and you want to do YouTube, or you want to be a YouTuber and you start out and you're really bad on the camera, maybe you want to take more camera classes, more video presentation classes, more scripting classes, and things like that to help you hone in on the skills for your craft. So if that's the case, then you might have to customize your spending a little bit different than the minimum viable list of expenses. And that's something you want to be realistic about as well, is that if you aren't starting with the same skill level as other people, or if you need to develop a skill level because of where you want to go with your business, then you have to be willing to be flexible with yourself, because you have to invest what you need to in order to make your business take off the way you want it to. Daily bookkeeping might be appropriate at some point when your spending is a little less predictable, when your expenses are a little less predictable, and when you're kind of doing things as you go. Sometimes that is necessary, and sometimes you may need to have more discipline with it. It depends on what the budget is. Managing your receipts might also be something that you need to do on a daily basis. If you are getting receipts from different people that you've paid, maybe you're getting them in your email. For example, when you pay something like email marketing, or when you pay something like web hosting, then they usually send an email receipt, and those receipts, you want to keep them just in case you have any compliance, any auditing issues. You'll be able to prove what your expenses were and that they were business related expenses. If you decide to go to Walmart and you decide to have a photo shoot or something like that, and you need to buy props for your photo shoot and you buy them from Walmart, it's difficult for the IRS or any tax agency to know that those expenses were business related unless you have a receipt. When the transaction goes through your bank account, it'll just say Walmart and it'll say how much the expense was, but it doesn't say what the exact items that you purchased were, and it doesn't also say how that was valuable for your business or how that would benefit your business, which is two key things that you would have to prove in an audit. So you want to make sure that in the beginning, if you are making spending decisions on the go, then you may need to do that on a daily basis with tracking your receipts and various things like that. As you start to develop routines, then you'll have to do those practices less, and you can move to weekly or monthly bookkeeping. So that's basically answering how often should you do your bookkeeping tasks. You should do them as often as needed in order to stay on top of it, to make sure each expense and each income stream is accounted for, well documented, easy to prove. And so that may mean daily, weekly, or monthly, depending on your spending habits. So what software can help with managing bookkeeping as a blogger? Now, software can make it a lot easier to manage your expenses. Yes, you can use an old school journal, but even in situations where you're working with an accountant that is not physically close to you, or that you don't want to have to drive to whenever you need to talk to them about your business accounting, then it's easier to use software, because then you can download reports, you can add them as a user, you can do various things to give access to accountants or bookkeepers or people that will be able to help you with your business finances without actually being physically in the same location. So I use software to track my income and expenses, to pay myself, to file my taxes, and to coordinate with accountants or bookkeepers when I need to. And so software can be really helpful with managing your business finances. If you try to keep everything in your head, then it's very easy to overspend or to project wrong and to forget things. And even if you rely on your bank statements, like I mentioned before, don't tell specifics of what you spent the money on, what your package size was. If it's something like email marketing, why did you have to spend $49 instead of spending $19? Maybe a year down the line, you may not remember why you spent $49 versus $19, but when you have everything documented well, then you can say, oh, okay, at my 14-month mark, my email list grew up to this point, and that's why I had to switch plans, and that's why the plan went up. So you can really accurately account for why you made the spending decisions that you did. It can help you with helping other people. It can also help you with remembering your journey well and being able to make decisions about scaling and growth. For payroll, some software that you can use for payroll is Quickbooks. That's what I personally use to run my payroll. It helps me with making sure that all of my taxes are paid, my income taxes are paid, like Social Security, Medicare, FICA, various things like that are normally taken out if you have a job. As a blogger, you can actually create a job for yourself, and you can have pay stubs that come from running your blog. So you can make sure that all of those things are paid, which are things that everyone has to do, whether you are self-employed, whether you own a business, or whether you have a job. So QuickBooks can help with running your payroll. Once you have more employees aside from yourself, you can also pay them through QuickBooks, and they can have their pay stubs if they need to do any financial things that they might need to do. Maybe they want to get a loan, or maybe they want to buy new furniture, or maybe they want to do something where they need to prove their income. They can have pay stubs as well. So you'll find a lot of times where maybe you want to do something and you need to have proof of income. Having QuickBooks can really help you, because you can have those pay stubs as proof of income, and it really helps. Zenefits is also a company that you can use for the same thing. Zenefits is a company that's really good, very reputable in the market for payroll services. I think that QuickBooks is more targeted at small businesses. Zenefits is all size. So I think that they've tailored their pay structure and their services where it works better as you scale, as you have a bigger size business. But they are still a good company that if you want to consider them, that's another option. And Gusto is also another payroll option. They have payroll software. Like I said, I've used QuickBooks, and that's the only one that I can actually give you a recommendation based on my experience. When it comes to budgeting, Everydollar is what I personally use for budgeting, and I'll show you in a few minutes how to make a blogging budget on Everydollar. When it comes to income and expense tracking, invoicing, or sending reminders, this is something that if you sell services through your blog, like maybe you do social media management, or maybe you're a lawyer and you blog to acquire customers, but you also do legal consultation, or maybe you're an accountant and you blog to attract customers, but you still provide accounting consultation, then maybe you might need to do invoicing. And maybe you might need to send out recurring reminders or things like that related to invoicing. If those are needs that you have, then you can use a software like QuickBooks. QuickBooks also does that, or you can use Freshbooks. Now, another thing that is common to see with blogs is maybe you sell products on your blog. And in that case, you would need something that would be able to do inventory management, and QuickBooks also does that. So I would say that QuickBooks is the best place to start because they offer you the payroll HR help. They also have like live bookkeeping support. So if you actually needed to work with a bookkeeper, then they have that support where you can get that help. Most accountants use QuickBooks or know how to use QuickBooks. There's lots of courses on QuickBooks. If you just Google online, or if you go to Udemy, they have lots of courses on how to use QuickBooks. So I think QuickBooks is the most widely used. There are other softwares that are fairly easy to use, but they're less widely used. So QuickBooks is easier to find, like YouTube videos about it and all kinds of things. And then it does the payroll, it does the budgeting, and it also does invoicing, reminders, and inventory management. So my top recommendation would be QuickBooks for bookkeeping, but still QuickBooks doesn't do budgeting. So if you actually want to be able to look at your income and decide on what money should go where, how much you'll have left if you make that decision and all of that, then I would still have a different software for that. And personally, I use Everydollar. Another question, do bloggers do invoicing? Some bloggers offer services like I mentioned before, virtual assistant services or ad management or social media management, influencer marketing, brand deals and sponsorships. They might have licensing agreements or various different ways that they make money from their blogs. And some of them require invoicing and follow-up, and others of them don't. If you are using something like affiliate marketing, then you don't have to do invoicing. Your affiliate partners use tracking software to account for what customers you sent their way. And typically they have a set day that they pay out their affiliates. If they have a new affiliate program, then they may not be as structured as that. I have seen some companies where they have much less structure, and I would actually recommend that maybe you consider staying away from companies like that who don't have an established date that they pay out or way that they pay out or all of that. You want to make sure they have an established way that they pay out, that they will send the money to you, and you don't have to send reminders and things like that. But that would be your choice if you prefer to work with affiliate partners like that. There are lots of choices for companies who are very structured and who pay their affiliates on a consistent basis. So I lean more towards the companies who have established affiliate programs and who have established products and like that. But that is again up to you. If you offer services through your blog, then you can sell them using learning management solutions. For example, I sell consulting, or I sell my audit services, so I can go and look at someone else's website or social media page and give them feedback on it. I sell those services through Podia, and you can use learning management solution like Podia to sell services. But you can also choose to invoice each service and to send out an invoice whenever you work with a client. For me, I do invoicing if it's a project that I don't expect to do on a wide scale. For example, if someone came to me and said, I want you to design my website, then we might talk about what the scope of the project is, what they want done, what the deadline is, all of those things, and then I would come up with a cost structure and I would send an invoice based off of our agreement. So it depends on what you are doing. I've had both situations happen where people build trust with me, or they are interested in a service that I don't openly sell based off of seeing a video or based off of seeing a blog post. Then they realize that I have a skill set they want to hire me for. So this can happen. Blogging can bring you all kinds of opportunities. And when that happens, then you may need to do invoicing. When I do invoicing, I personally use either PayPal, I've used Freshbooks, and I've also used Quickbooks for invoicing. So you can yes, you can. Bloggers do invoicing. Bloggers can do invoicing. Depending on what monetization structure you use, it may be less common or less needed. If you're using e-commerce or affiliate marketing, it really would be less needed. Okay, how do you pay yourself as a blogger? Again, everyone is different. Some people like to do theirs manually, where they do their business budget and then they calculate. They might use some type of tax calculator, and then they'll send Social Security, and they'll send whatever payment they need to FICA, and they'll send whatever payment they need to everywhere else, to their state taxes agency. I personally don't like to do it all manually. It takes too much time. For me, I would much prefer to spend my time on actually building my business and doing the trade that is making me the money. So I like to use QuickBooks, and if you're interested in seeing how I pay myself through QuickBooks, definitely leave a comment below and I can show you what my routine is, how I pay myself. But when it comes to paying yourself as a blogger, it's still important for you to make sure that you're compliant with all of the tax agencies and all of the regulations that you need to be. And so for me, I like to rely on companies that will help me to be compliant. And that's why I like to use QuickBooks to pay myself. So once I've done my budget and I know what my income and my expenses are, then and what I want to set aside for working capital or profit, then I will decide what I want to pay myself as well. And from that amount that I pay myself, then my taxes come out of that amount. So that is how I make sure all of my compliance things are met. Now, if I want to, I can also set up my payroll to put money in my retirement accounts, to put money in my investment accounts, to pay my health insurance, and all of that, similar to how a job would. You can set all of that up through QuickBooks or Zenefits or Gusto. But I personally, like I said, I use QuickBooks for it. And at this point, I don't have those things set up, but I definitely have that in mind, that once my business revenue grows even more, that I will be setting up those direct deposits where I'll also be paying those things from my payroll. Now, who can you ask business finance questions to if you have them? It's best to have a bookkeeper and an accountant to go to if you have business finance questions. You want to be able to ask all of these questions. If you have any concerns about bookkeeping, how to do it, why is QuickBooks acting up, all of those things, you want to have someone to go to. For me, most of my questions get answered by QuickBooks. They have, like I said, the live bookkeeping service. They also have their support, chat support. So if you have questions, a lot of them can be answered that way. Some questions, they will tell you, you need to go to an accountant and ask that question. So, or you need to sign up for their live bookkeeping service, or you need to go to their accountant referral service and they'll connect you with an accountant. So I would say start with QuickBooks, and then if you start to have deeper questions, make sure you have someone else to go to, a bookkeeper and an accountant. Now, what to do at tax time? If you sustain the daily, weekly, and monthly habits that I mentioned in this video, then tax time will be much, much easier. You would simply schedule an appointment with an accountant a few months out to have them look over what you've been doing throughout the year. And then at that appointment, you can set up your actual tax filing appointment. That would be an organized way to do it. You can also go and see the accountant more often throughout the year. It's really up to you, but that is how you would do it. For some people, if you start out and you don't have a lot of revenue, you don't have a lot of wiggle room in your personal finances to work with an accountant or a bookkeeper, then you might need to use some DIY tax software. And I've done lots of reviews on DIY tax software that you can use for your business. For me, I've actually used TaxAct, and TaxAct can be used for various business types. You can use it if you have an S Corp, if you have a C Corp, if you have an LLC. So that's why I chose to use TaxAct. Now you can choose TurboTax, TaxSlayer, H&R Block. If you have an LLC or a sole proprietorship, then those softwares will work. So I've answered a lot of questions, and now I actually want to show you how to track your blogging income with a demonstration inside of Everydollar. So let's jump right into that. Okay, so I started using Everydollar in November of 2019. And so I decided to demonstrate to you from a clean slate. And so I am going to the October 2019 tab and showing you how to add in all of your line items, and then how to possibly project if you wanted to, and then how to add in your actuals. So that's how I'll do it. We'll just pretend that instead of October 2019, this is the budget for May 2020. So let's pretend that, okay? So let's jump right in. You see, Everydollar starts out where it's kind of set up for personal finances. So you would have maybe a husband or wife paycheck, or you might have more than one paycheck. You have two jobs or whatever the case is. And then all of these expenses. Now we have to change them to make them look more like an actual blogging business. So we'll still have income, but instead of paycheck number 1 and paycheck number 2, maybe we'll say that this is affiliate network 1. Maybe this affiliate network is Flex Offers. And so if you are not familiar with Flex Offers, I've done a review on that. You can check out my Flex Offers review and see how that works. If you're looking to increase your affiliate income, they have a lot of great affiliate partners you can work with there, and some of them may be relevant to your audience, so you can start to build an income by promoting products that are with the Flex Offers merchants. And so let's say income number 2 is affiliate network 2, and that is CJ affiliate, so they are paying you. And then you have maybe affiliate network 3, and that might be, let's say, Share a Sale. And let's say you have an affiliate partner, and they manage their own affiliate program. And let's say you have affiliate partner number 1, okay, and maybe you have affiliate partner number 2. So you have all of these people who are sending you your affiliate commissions every month. Then you might also have, maybe you have a service that you sell in your business. So you have services income, and maybe you have brand partnerships. So let's say you have brand partnership 1, or maybe you do a brand network 1. Let's say Isaiah. I don't use them, but I hear a lot of people who do brand partnerships using them. And let's say you do another brand network, because there's quite a few brand networks as well. So you might be getting different paychecks from that. And you have your services income. And then maybe you have, let's see, what else? Okay, you have products. So maybe you have your digital products that come in from one direction, and then you might have your bank surcharges or rebates as income, and then maybe you have physical products. So we're giving you multiple streams of income right here. And then maybe you're a speaker too. So you do some live speaking, live events / speaking. Okay, which could count as services. So let's just say these are your streams of income. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 streams of income. Now, I would not recommend you try to build them all at once. I would say start with 1 or 2 and build them up. Once you see something working, double down. Like if you haven't seen my affiliate marketing sales hacks, definitely go back and look at that video. One of the tips was to double down on what's working. So do not try to sign up for all of these things at one time, because they all require different tasks in order for you to build them. But this is an eventual what it could look like. So then maybe you decide that you want to do some scholarships for people in your niche, or you want to do giveaways where you're still paying your team, but you are giving away whatever product or service for free. So maybe you have some money that you decide you want to set aside for giving from your business. And then you have, I would say, you can have an emergency fund, but really you have to have working capital. You may have owner's bonuses, or you may have employee bonuses that you decide to do at some point. Maybe sales is high and your employees contributed a lot to it, so you decide to do some bonuses. So you have working capital, owner's bonuses, employee bonuses, and maybe you decide to keep your profit separate from that. Now, I right now keep working capital and profit in the same place. And then instead of housing, we can call this tools or business space. Maybe you don't need business space at the beginning, but at some point you might want to do something like have a co-working space for if you want to do like meetings or something like that, or even if you want to do your videos and you don't want them to be done in a location where you are or where you travel to or whatever. Maybe you decide to get a co-working space so that you can have a nice background for your videos or something like that. So co-working space, and then maybe you might also want to have, so you have your co-working space. You may need a P.O. box or mailing address. You do need internet. So we'll delete some things. Maybe you might want to have cable, maybe trash, maybe an expense that you have in whatever space you have. So I'll leave those two. Transportation, this is still something that's possible. You can also have as far as food that is business related would only be like if you paid for a brand partner or something like that, to like maybe you were trying to secure a deal or improve your retention or something like that with a business partner or a business deal. And so you decided to buy dinner or maybe send them catering, or maybe you sponsored an event that's relevant to your niche or something like that. That's when food would count. Like, let's say sponsored dinners, or let's say sponsored dinners, catering. So we'll just put these there. And then maybe you are thinking about doing travel. Maybe you want to go to different blogging events. They have events like FinCon. They have different affiliate marketing events. So let's say events, admissions, and maybe you go flights, and maybe for travel, when you travel, let's say you might need rental cars, you need a hotel for the event. Like, so let's say these are just a few things that you might need for your expenses. So we already did transportation, travel, and then let's say tools and equipment. So you need your web hosting, your email marketing, if you decide to do digital courses, maybe you decide to do, or digital products, you need some platform to sell those on, digital product platform. Maybe you need some things for conversion optimization. At some point you want to just start to think about it ahead of time. You might not need it when you are starting out, but maybe you decide at some point you want to get heat maps. At some point you want to do more focus on optimizing for conversions, pop-ups and various things, but you don't need to spend for them before you have traffic. So you just want to start to think about it. So you put it as a line item. Conversion optimization software, budgeting software / personal finance / finance. So like Quickbooks or that stuff. Maybe you decide to have legal software / subscription, so you can reach out to a lawyer when you need to. So all of these are like possible tools and equipment type of things that you could have. And then you have payroll. So you pay yourself. If you need to hire contractors, maybe you decide to hire a graphic designer from Fiverr, or maybe you decide to hire a writer from Upwork, or whatever the case is. Then you will have this line item. Then maybe you also, at some point, you start to hire employees. You might even start to save ahead of time, so that way you can have 6 months of their payroll set aside. If anything happens, sales goes down, they're still good to go. So you have payroll, you have paying yourself, you have contractors, and you might also need consultants from time to time. So maybe you decide to pay for coaching or consultants just in case maybe you get something on your contact form, somebody is trying to sue you for something, or you don't know about how to do the hiring process, so you decide to get an HR consultant, or maybe you don't know how to get started with Facebook ads. So you decide to get a marketing consultant to go to talk to you more in depth about it. Maybe you decide at some point to get liability insurance for your business. Maybe once you get your co-working space, you want to have renter's insurance to protect whatever things that you put in your office space. And as far as debt, maybe you do decide to get a business loan one day. So let's keep that line item, business loan. Okay, so this is kind of how it will look once you've customized it. And if you've never made a sale before, then you wouldn't really know how to put this in there. So you would have an additional line item that would be owner's investment. So this money would come out of your personal finances, your personal checking account, or maybe it came from, maybe your family member gave you money and you decide to invest that in your business. Maybe Christmas you got a lot of Christmas money, or you got a lot of birthday money, or whatever the case is, and you decide to invest that. All of that will fall under owner investment. And you could also get outside investment if you decide to raise funds outside investment. Okay. So, let's say you decide to invest $1,000 every month or less. Eventually, the business would start to build up in these other areas, and then you wouldn't have to still do owner's investments if you don't want. If you want to continue scaling at a certain rate, then you can continue doing owner's investments for as long as you want. But then you would go from there and kind of start to fill out which things you need. If you pay for your mailbox, if you pay for your internet, then you see it's showing me how much left I have to budget as I go along. This month, let's say I'm not doing any transportation that's business related. I'm just going to be working from home. I am not going to be doing any sponsored dinners or catering. I'm not attending any events. But maybe you might want to plan for an event that's a year out. So then you can turn this into a fund and you can start to save for this event. But let's say web hosting, you want to pay for your web hosting at education as. So web hosting, let's say that we'll make that. And let's do email marketing. Let's say that we're paying $19 for that. We're not doing digital products yet, but we do want to start thinking about digital products. We're not going to do any funnel software or any type of pop-ups or anything like that because we're just starting. And for budgeting and finance, we do want to do some of that. So let's say we pay $10 for that, or you can use Everydollar for free, and you can upgrade. It's $10 once you decide to upgrade. As far as legal software, maybe we decide to go with Rocket Lawyer, and we're going to be paying for that every month. And then you have education. We want to stay educated, so let's keep it lower than that though. Let's say we'll do $50 for education. And you know what? We forgot one group, and that is customer acquisition. So once we have our website set up and everything like that, and we have a good operating funnel, we know that certain pages on our website are converting really well, then we may decide to do ads. So let's say Google ads, Pinterest ads, Facebook ads. We're doing independent blog deal ads. So we're paying people in our niche to put ads on their website to bring us traffic. We might do some influencer marketing. We're paying some influencers to send traffic our way. And so this is where we're starting. Maybe we'll do some Microsoft ads at some point. And maybe we do some offline stuff too. Maybe we do get some swag and some promo products, and we do some trade shows. And yeah. So, okay, so these are some different things we can do to get some customers rolling through. And okay, so let's say we decide, since we have money left to budget, we're going to be putting $1,000 on our investment in every month. Then we are going to, spend some money on ads after our funnel's working. So let's say we decide to do, let's master one at a time. Let's go with, yeah, let's put the money in. Let's put $500 here. And that'll go to Google Ads. And then the rest of the money we're going to be saving for equipment costs. Like maybe we don't have a good computer, so we're going to put it in working capital and start to save up for some equipment that is in the long run. Or maybe we're going to save up for writers, or maybe we're going to save up for contractors so that we don't have to do so much of the work. But this is what our budget is looking like. So that's how you can track your blogging income. I'm hoping that this was helpful for you. So wow, that was a lot of information on how to track your blogging or online business income. I'm hoping it was really helpful for you. If it was, please leave a thumbs up. And if you'd like to see more videos like this where I do product and service reviews as well as growth strategies to help you grow a business from idea to full-time income and from full-time income to enterprise, then definitely subscribe to this channel and click the bell icon so you can be notified of upcoming videos. That's all I have for this video, and I really hope to see you in the next one. Have a great day. Bye.